Yeah, hi, this is Tony. Welcome to another episode of Crime Pays by Botany Doesn't. Today I was coming to you from beautiful Wakulla County, Florida, over there in the Florida Panhandle. My knees and arms are covered in chigger bites, and I got a raging case of Tourette's today. Well, I kind of do every day. But we're going to show you some really cool plants growing on these sandy soils. And this sand is just weathered Appalachian mountains. It's a few million years, maybe a little bit more than that, of those mountains just being ground down, weathered mechanically and chemically, and then ending up here on their way to the Gulf. Many of them transported by the Apalachicola River. You can see the oaks we got, Quercus flavus, the turkey oak, we got Pinus palustris, the longleaf pine. Look at that shaggy bastard, like a pompadour. Also got some of that cladonia lichen over there. You can see that little powder poofs. We got a lot of interesting plants. Oh, look at that nice longleaf too, just coming out of the grass station. Let's go check it out. Look at this, a little black bean, Crotalaria rotundifolia. Yellow flowers when they go off, still got the calyx on there, and there's that fruit, because every flower matures into a fruit, which a lot of people still don't know. That's how disconnected we are. But now you do, so you could technically take that and take the seeds off of it and grow them out. Growing on the sands, and look at those, you can see why it's got rotundifolia as a species up at that. Let's go look at this, let's go look at my friend Lily over here. She's checking out this milkweed. Lily, tell us about this milkweed. What is this? Holy shit.
This is Asclepias humostrata, the sandhill milkweed, and it's an extremely important milkweed for migrating monarch butterflies because it's the first species to come up in early spring. And so on their northern migration from Mexico, this plant is where they stop first. They stop on these plants and lay eggs. We might even see, there's an egg right there. There's a little monarch egg.
So they're flying over the Gulf.
Yep.
They're coming from those forests down there by Michoacan, those high elevation Abies forests. You know, Abies in the pine family, the first. And then they stop, they're going north, they stop, and this is one of the things that's blooming. Look at they feel all waxy.
Yeah.
The leaves,
really
look at it, you can like wipe the wax off.
Glaucous, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
And then they're an extremely long-lived species. We don't know exactly how long, but they're very slow-growing. They require deep sand, and they have a taproot that grows straight down in the sand, a thick taproot. And it goes like 4 feet down in the soil.
So this is endemic to the southeastern coastal plain, Georgia. Does it go into Alabama at all?
Yeah, southern Alabama.
God damn, look at those. Look, 5 hoods. You got the horns in the middle. Petals reflexed. The sepals are presumably behind her. Oh yeah, you could just barely see them. But these live a long time.
Very long-lived, and we don't really know how long, but they're extremely slow-growing.
Can't get over how nice these smell. Like all milkweeds. I haven't met a milkweed yet that didn't have really lovely smelling flowers. And this right here, this is Pityopsis flexuosa, which is another narrow endemic Asteraceae. The Pityopsis are pretty cool. They've got these rather stiff and also very tomentose leaves. So these milkweeds, they're herbaceous perennials, like many of the ones in North America. So these tops will die at the end of the year. That root stays alive. And of course, that root is probably somewhat tuberous, I presume, huh? It's got a lot of energy stored up in there, or what?
Yeah, and it goes straight down into the soil, so it can persist in these sandy areas even if we go through an extreme drought. That taproot can touch into the water down further in the soil. And it also is resistant for the regular fire returns that are common in these upland pine sandhills. So this species can be burned back and re-sprout really quickly because it has so much energy stored down in those roots.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's got to be a nice adaptation to fire, too. You just die back to the root. And
even if, like, somebody were to disc this soil, that root stock way down in the ground would still be able to re-sprout. So.
Oh, you mean like if some slob came through here to mow?
Yep, yeah.
Oh, look at it. Nice prunus serratna. All right? Same genus as cherries and almonds, rose family Rosaceae. Look at that distinct bark. See that? Almost kind of ribbony. See? In horizontal bands. Anyway, another great plant we got to check out over here, Lupinus villosus. Okay? Look at this. Goddamn lupin. Look at that. Same thing that Asclepias was doing. You got hairy leaves, glaucous leaves. Asclepias didn't have hairy leaves. It had glaucous leaves, but they were waxy. This has glaucous leaves, but they're hairy. Okay? Hairy and pubescent. Looks like it's just got one leaf, but in keeping with the theme of the pea family, it's actually got those two vestigial leaves down there. You can see at the base of that, the quasi-unifoliate leaf that's just covered in so much freaking hair. It feels like toilet paper, almost like mullein. Okay, but we would never use it like that, all right? Of course, those hairs help reflect the sun of this sandy environment. Since it's sand, nutrient-poor sand, it's not going to be, you know, it doesn't get, it's rather exposed. You know, you don't get a forest on a lot of these sand hills, all right? You get lots of exposure, lots of sun, and of course, that sand loses moisture very quick and dries out. So you need those hairs, which will help retain moisture, help reflect the sun, help keep the leaf temperature down so it can continue photosynthesizing no matter how hot it is. And look at those flowers. God damn. Look, it almost looks like they're dripping with nectar. Or is that dew or what? Incredible. Banner wings and keel, typical pea family flower morphology there. But that banner petal's got a little spot of that mahogany on it. It's got a port wine stain. Hairy calyces. Remember, the calyces are just the conglomeration of sepals. Hairy stems, etc. Really incredible plant. And look at how woolly those fruits are. That ovary, which prior to pollination is ensconced in the keel, and the keel is in between those two wing petals. That ovary, once it's pollinated and matures and swells, still keeps all that hair on it. All right, again, that's an adaptation to these hot, dry environments on these sandy soils. Look at this spreading bastard on the ground, creeping, spreading by rhizome. Geobalanus oblongifolius, Chrysobalanaceae is the family. Another family in order, Malpighiales, same order as willows and poinsettias, the euphorbs. Okay, goes furthest north it goes into southern South Carolina. Furthest west it goes is like southern Mississippi. Look at how shiny and glabrous the leaves are, though. Gopher apple is the common name of it. Apple for gophers, I guess? I don't know. Another common species on the sands in North Florida, Croton argyranthamus. One of the 1,300 species in the genus Croton, which is also in order Malpighiales, in the family Euphorbiaceae. Those are the staminate flowers right there. See all the stamens? See all the stamens poking out? And then you got, at the base, you got the pistillate flowers, the female flowers. See, with the ovary in them. See how they're swollen like that? An ovary and a three-lobed stigma, three-branch stigma coming out of them. Look at all the scales on it. I love all the crotons. Probably a very easy plant to grow in a garden. If you live on the sands, you know, you should be growing this. These things the crotons love the hot and the dry. They do very well with the full exposure. I think almost all of them need it. See how dense it is under there? Remember, all this stuff used to burn on 1 to 3 year intervals, okay? But fire suppression is really kind of fucked it up, all right? Both indigenous people would burn it, as well as frequent lightning, which would help, you know, it would be good. It'd clear out all the brush, all the dead brush, and make it easier for the stuff that was adapted to it to survive and grow. It also get rid of all the ticks and all the chiggers, which I'm a big fan of getting rid of. Anyway, another member of Euphorbiaceae, Niduscolus stimulans, all right? Part of the genus colloquially known as Malamujer, which is a little bit weird of a common name. Look at those leaves. We get a Niduscolus in Texas, Niduscolus texana, which goes on down into northern Mexico. They'll sting you, all right? But there's an edible species in the genus as well that's grown as a crop plant down there in Chiapas. Look at all the hairs on it. The urticating hair is nice. Flowers smell really good, though. Old Quercus virginiana, aka the live oak. Look at that with those rounded leaves, okay? But of course, oak leaves can be very variable, all right? You got to kind of know, you know, they can be very polymorphic. You get a glabrous up top, though. And something a little bit velvety on the underside. Well, not velvety, but they got it's not glabrous, I'll tell you that. Oh, nice native bunch grass. See that? Sporobolus junci. You could say sporabilis too, but I like saying sporobolus. This thing about Latin, you can pronounce it however you want. It really doesn't matter. Anyone who tells you differently kind of needs a kick in the groin. Anyway, look at those beautiful. Look how beautiful it is. Look at that inflorescence. God damn it. That panicle, thousands of tiny flowers on it. It's probably 1,000 tiny flowers on this. You can't really go by the flower. You got to go by the whole geometry of inflorescence when it's coming down to ID, and you'll still fuck it up, which is okay. It's fine. Look at that kind of blue nature to those leaf blades too. Holy hell! Look at that. See, you could just see those anthers dangling out of that tiny floret at the end of that spikelet, and that spikelet has what? I don't know, 3 or 4 florets on it. You kind of need a microscope to study these things. That's kind of why I've avoided them for too long. Look, there's some more dangly anthers, some more dangly balls up there. See that? Anyway, Beautiful grass though. We've come on down the road. That water over there is Apalachicola Bay. We're near the town of Apalachicola, which actually has the highest proportion of horny police anywhere in the state of Florida, and it's saying a lot. Okay, you got a lot of horny cops here. Okay, overtly horny cops. It's a little disturbing, but we're actually here to check out this power line easement because this is the only spot that actually gets cleared. Prior to, you know, the last, I don't know, 90 years, 100 years maybe, fire suppression wasn't a thing here. There was active burns, cleared out all this brush. Nothing really likes this except the bugs, you know, and not the nice bugs, the ones that bite you. All right, all the chiggers, different biting flies, etc. All right, actually the chiggers tend to like the sand more, but you know, the quail do not even like this thick brush. All right, not many animals do. All right, so that's why, you know, native people used to burn. It's lightning caused fires were a big cause of the fires here that were very frequent. So we're gonna go check out some of the plants that are able to persist solely because of this power line easement, and see what's going on, because they used to grow over there, but due to fire suppression they've kind of been knocked out, overshaded. So the moral of the story is you got to burn. But let's see what's going on over here. We're seeing a lot of nice stuff over here, but let's start with this guy. Okay, this guy will not grow in the shade. Conradina canescens of the mint family Lamiaceae, and this is something that's going to get knocked out once the overstory moves in. All right, once all the surrounding stuff gets too tall, because there's no burn anymore. Mint family Lamiaceae, again, you can see there's that flower. Holy hell, look at that, bilaterally symmetrical. You got 4 stamens in there, 4 anthers, those maroon things, and of course, again, the whole flower. Oh, look, you got hair on top of that corolla as well. God damn, I've been wanting to see this guy for a long time. And you got that kind of lamiaceous calyx right there. See that right there? The sepals again. That ridged calyx. Oh, that's nice. Just looks like a salvia calyx. Almost minty green and blue with all those freaking hairs on it. See that? Alternating opposite small leaves with just covered in the hairs. Damn, here we go. Stunner right here. Stunner right here. But first, look at this. You get the white sands, okay? Almost pure silica, but you've also got that limestone talus mixed in there as well. Look at this. Lupinus westianus. God damn, look at that. Again, look, a little bit taller than that Lupinus villosus I just showed you. But look, again, it's got that banner petal with that darker patterning on it. And look how blue, look at how heavily blue those leaves are. You still got the 2 vestigial leaves at the base. Oh yeah, you do. See, you get those looking like bracts. All right, but most peas, most members of Faboideae subfamily have 3 leaves. All right, so it's really weird to see a unifoliate one, but then it turns out, of course, it's only quasi-unifoliate. It's still got those 2 vestigial leaves. And look how hairy that shit is. Oh my God. Those flowers are incredible as well. And it's a woody bastard, see? Not an herbaceous perennial. It's actually got, the woody stem. All the sun lovers. Look at this Pityopsis, 2 Asteraceae. All right, god damn, almost feels like palm leaves. So wild. Such a cool genus of Asteraceae too. Just another DYC, damn yellow composite, little yellow daisy, but it's notorious for having those stiff grass-like leaves. I love the sand. It's so nice. I love the open and exposed stuff. I don't like the dark and shady forest. I like the fire-dependent landscapes. Okay, see that sand pine? That's a fire-adapted pine right there. And just like the California cypresses, they're fire dependent. Fire comes through, kills every tree. They don't regenerate, but their seeds are serotinous, their cones are serotinous rather, and they drop the seeds, and then you get a whole new stand, recruitment after the fire. See, there's a sand pine. There's a nice Pinus clausa. See that with those short, look at those short needles. Yeah, how do they even do it? They got that mycorrhizal stuff going on. They got a mycorrhizal symbiosis in the ground, dealing with this nutrient poor, fast draining sand. Oh, that's nice. I'm in love. Conradina. Who's Conrad? Is it like Comrade? See this little style? See, typical lamiaceous style. All right, salvia has the same thing. The thing up top, you got the style above those stamens poking out of that hood of that corolla. Total stunner. Oh my God. And it is the foliage actually does smell like rosemary, which is in the same family, of course. And actually, rosemary is technically, I think it might even, someone was trying to lump it in with salvia. Love the, lumping the genus in with salvia. I think it is now a salvia. Anyway, And the speckling on it, that lower lip petal, which is just 3 petals fused together, and then the hood is just 2 petals fused together. Conradina canescens, you prick. Sun-exposed sand in the south is going to have Serenoa repens in it, which another plant that goes on up into southern South Carolina. All right? Saw palmetto. Yeah, you could take that for your dong, supposedly. It does something. What do? You grind it up? Put it in your ass? I don't know what you do with this stuff. They get a lot bigger than that, though, but they do tend to grow prostrate along the ground, and it's a fire-adapted palm, of course. Look at that lupin. Look at it. Westianus. Why is it Westianus what? Somebody's anus points to the west. Look at that. This is an oak. This is a scrub oak. Quercus myrtifolia. All right, but it doesn't get very tall, and it would be killed by fire. Maybe it would resprout, though. Probably would. Most oaks tend to. Look at those leaves, though. Odd for an oak. Almost doesn't even look like an oak. Stuff with the unifoliate leaf. So many of the lupins in Florida, at least 3 of them that I've seen now do that. It's really weird. The quasi-unifoliate leaf, that thing is just incredible. Why are more people not growing this? It just blows my mind. I came from California, where I lived for far too long, 20 years, okay, where every freaking town seems to have its own native plant society. You come out east or to the center of the United States, all right, you can barely find a native plant society. Most people don't know about the shit that grows right around them. And so they don't care when some developer pig sleazebag wants to develop it and turn it into strip malls or tract housing or any of the other depressing shit that comprises most of modern day America. They just don't know. It's nuts. Because I come here, this shit blows my mind. I'm like, how the fuck do more people not get amped about this stuff? Because I am. There's more scrub oak diversity. This is a different species than the one I just showed you. And see, they're flowering too. You got the staminate flowers right there, the catkins. See, those are just dongs. Those are just stamens. And then the female flowers, the pistillate flowers, look at this. This always blows people's minds, are right there. Those tiny little things. See that brown disc of a stigma waiting to get dusted with windborne pollen? And then, so those things, the ovary is beneath that, and that's what will swell to about 100 times that size and turn into an acorn. But look at the scales. Look at the scales, honestly. This thing is built for the hot, dry, sandy soils, okay? It is humid here, okay? So it's not a desert oak. It's not like that. It's just full exposure, full sun, sandy soils exposure. And look at that beautiful, look at that beautiful white abaxial surface. Abaxial lower, adaxial upper. All right, glabrous up top, and look, white indumentum on the underside. Almost makes you as horny as the cops. It's amazing how the adult bookstores and churches just taper off once you reach the beach community. Just an interesting social observation. Anyway, look at those bursts of new growth in this Lyonia ferruginea. The rusty Lyonia, probably because that new growth is covered in those orange scales, which protect it from the sun until it can quote-unquote harden off, okay? Like the foliage beneath it. Ericaceae, blueberry family, all right? But they get a woody capsule. They don't get a berry. They're not edible, but they do get their own species of Exobasidium fungus, which seems to be a rather harmless parasite, but does produce very interesting fruiting bodies which resemble flowers in order to get insects to land on them and help disperse the spores. I don't know why I just found this in my pocket, but I did. I guess I was going to snack on it and I forgot about it, but that's the most stereotypically Italian thing to be eating out here is a can of tomato paste. But it is good for you. I will give it that, all right? It's just tomatoes and salt, you know. Road food, consider it. It wouldn't be the South without a dildo on the side of the road, discarded, okay, almost in a fit of shame. And it also wouldn't be the South without a species of smilax somewhere in view, and that's what you got right here, all right? Smilacaceae is the family, huge genus, tons of species. There's the flowers. Is this auriculata? I don't even know. I don't even mess with it anymore. But I do know when I'm stuck on one, and, you know, especially when the spines are digging into me. Regardless, I still love it, though. Okay? Look at those flowers. Boom. Those are nice. Just another nice vining monocot. 6 petals, 6 stamens. Just step right over this guy. I didn't even see him. Look at that. He's got all those stress pigments, all those betalain pigments, right? Because remember, whole order Caryophyllales, except for like 2 or 3 families, don't produce anthocyanins, which are the right pigments in most plants. They produce betalains. Oh, that stem's got some blue in it. Puntia drumondii. See that? Just creeping along the sand. All right, I wonder how deep the roots go. Probably spread by animals too. If a coyote or something, or even a person has the misfortune to get it stuck to them, they've got those barbed spines. Here's a larger specimen of that oak I was showing you that I fell in love with, the Quercus geminata, all right, which grows in sandy soils. They can get, I don't know, 20, 30 feet tall, but it's got that beautiful white abaxial surface. See that? And I talk about ectomycorrhizae. All oaks are ectomycorrhizal. So it is, they come through and they mow. I'm actually for mowing in this case, obviously, because that disturbance enables the diversity. But what a lot of these electric companies do now, these power line managers, they come through and now they just spray, so they kill everything. All right? It's not ideal. Mowing's not ideal. Spraying is certainly not ideal. That's worst case scenario because you just kill everything. All right? Ideal would be burning the habitat like has happened for, however many thousands of years previous to this. But, if you can't do the burning, I'll settle for the mowing, the cutting. But now they're just spraying too. It seems pretty shit for rain and pretty lazy. So goes America. And look at that. That's picturesque. Look at it. You see this, Lily, do you see many people using this in their gardens or what?
No, unfortunately, it definitely does need deep sand, really well-drained soil, and most importantly, the seed is not available. Nobody's growing these species to collect seed, and you can't transplant them. They die if you try to transplant them, and you can't grow them in pots.
Jesus Christ. So you really need like a backyard grower, some local or something to come out here and collect seed and just grow shit ton. That's how most native plant movements do their thing anyway. That's how they get started. So tell us about this sand pine. It's Pinus clausus. So these will all die in a fire usually, but do they get intermittent low burning fires that don't kill them but take out the scrubber?
No, they die in a fire, and then that is what triggers the cones to open and the seeds to germinate, and it's a complete stand replacement post burn. Okay, like many of the California cypresses, but also clears out all this stuff in the understory right here too. Yeah.
And what was the fire interval here in a historic past?
In a sand pine scrub, it wouldn't have been as often. It would be like maybe 8 years or 10 years.
So not every 1 to 3, but these are fast growing pines regardless.
Yeah. So this should be burned much more often. It probably hasn't been burned in decades. And that's why all of these shrubby oaks have come up. They're all native oaks. They all belong in this ecosystem, but not in this quantity and not in this density. And if you look right here, you can see they've mechanically cleared this fire break, and it is where all the lupin are growing. And all of these lupins should be in here as well, but they've all been pushed out because of the fire suppression.
Is there anywhere you can see, what an intact, you can get a glimpse of what the ecosystem used to look like?
There are some state parks that are well managed with more regular fire return intervals, but not here.
So this is nice. The road just ends, and then I'm sure there's just full of ticks and chiggers in there. There's a Magnolia virginiana, Pinus eliadii slash pine. See, that looks like a broccoli. Compare that with the Pinus clausus, the sand pine. And then turning around, right where we got this Serenoa repens and this Lyonia, you could see the fungus I was telling you about, the Exobasidium fungus, is up there looking like flowers, which they certainly are not. Those are fungal fruiting bodies. Look at how cool that is. That fungus is blatantly mimicking a flower so that insects will land on it, pick up some spores, and then spread them. What a cool organism. Oh, God. And there's, different species of Lyonia have different species of Exobasidium that have co-evolved with them, that parasitize them. Some Exobasidium are generalists, some are specifists. Look at it. That's a mushroom. That is not a flower. God damn it. Evolution is so incredible. So look at this here. Exobasidium ferruginea, okay? Growing on Lyonia ferruginea. All right? Causing false flowers, causing hypertrophy of the cells, all right? Drastic enlargement of the cells. See those white things up above? Those are the true flowers, those tiny ones. They're not that big. And the fungus infects them and causes them to basically swell to way bigger than they'd ever be, and then hijacks the tissue. See that? And so you get this. Well, it looks like a flower, but it's completely just, I assume it's just fungal tissue. All right, so the fungus just lives as an endophyte, and then when it's time to get its spores out there, look at it, you can see all those spores on there too. It produces a fake flower that really does look like a flower. It almost looks like an Asimina flower, like the genus Asimina, which is nearby. And then, insects land on it, disperse the spores for it. What a fucking weird, what a gimmick. God, that thing's got to hustle. How long has it been there? When did it evolve? What did the common ancestor look like? How many evolutionary steps, how many precursor steps did it take to get there? These two species these two genera have just been co-evolving. I mean, it infects other genera in the order Ericales, but especially Ericaceae and especially Lyonia in this region. Okay, so I went ahead and just pulled that down. Sorry about that Lyonia. Well, he don't care, actually. He's probably doing him a favor. Sorry about that Exobasidium. Look at it. Look at that complex structure. What the hell? Look at that, though. I mean, it really does look like a flower. It looks like a crude rendition of a flower. It looks like a shitty AI drawing of a flower. God damn, that's weird. Look, it must be so successful. The spiders are hanging out on it, too. Spiders will do that. Of course, they wait on flowers for insects to come by. So insects are coming by and landing on this. I'd love to just sit there, you know, do a study, see what insects come by and hit this thing. All right, kind of like a pollination study, but it's a fake flower. Look at that, there we go, Ascendens spatulata, another species in the pawpaw genus, of course, which is Ascendens triloba for pawpaws for the edibles. This is Ascendens spatulata, Ananaceae, the family. It's somewhat basal angiosperm family. Look at that. Look at all the stigmas up top, and look at that weird. Look at that weird texture of these petals. Really is an odd one. Has kind of like a rubbery slash like I don't know, somewhat starchy smell to it. As you can see, we're a little bit deeper in a cut right here, and that looks like that looks like Pinus elliottii up there. Okay, the nice understory here. Probably hell to walk through. All right, but over here we got a member of the family Cyriliaceae, which if you live out west, you probably don't know what that is. All right, but Cyrilla racemiflora is in it, which is a really great plant that you get down here in the southeast. Order Ericales, family Cyriliaceae, and this is another genus in that family Cyriliaceae. This is Cliftonia monophylla. They call it the black tie-tie, all right, but it's related to the swamp tie-tie, aka the swamp titty, aka My Titty's Gone, which was a song by Dory Tourette and the Skirtheads, which was a Bay Area punk band, I don't know, about 20 years ago. Anyway, you could see what we got going on here. There's the flowers, there are the fruits, and it's thriving in this inundated, highly acidic soil, borderline boggy swamp soil with the Serenoa repens, and you got a couple different species of ilex and the overstory of Pinus clausa and Pinus elliottii. Look at the 8 stamens in a triphid style, all right, on that flower. And then there's what the fruits look like. Very distinct shape with the wings, okay? You got 4 wings, so that ovary must be a 4-lobed ovary. And you know, I've got freaking hot sauce all over my goddamn hands because I spilled it. Some jackass at Trader Joe's invented a hot sauce bottle that doesn't close. How do you like that? Another Hypericum, another St. John's wort. One of like the 3 dozen species there seemingly are down here. Okay, you want to show me this? What's this? What do we got here?
Yeah, these are the beautiful buds of Rhododendron seriolatum swamp azalea. It is one of our 2 summer blooming azaleas that blooms while it has leaves on it. Whereas most of our azaleas are deciduous and they bloom on leafless branches.
Those bracts are real nice. God damn, look at the white margin on them.
Aren't they stunning?
Damn, look at that. That's the old style, that little hair coming out. God damn, that's the old fruit, little woody capsule, little woody rhodo capsule. The hair's on that thing too, Jesus. So Lily's telling me that when they flower, they're white, they're super fragrant, probably moth pollinated. White flowers that big, and you get those moths just coming up, probably hovering, sticking their tongue in there. And the corollas are so sticky, so glandular, that they sometimes trap insects. She ends up seeing a bunch of insects trapped to the corollas. So that means whatever insects are getting trapped, they're probably not the pollinators. All right, that would not be an adaptive trait for a plant to have. But it keeps other insects off of them. So many cool rhododendrons. Rhododendron serolatum. And same family as that rhododendron we just showed you. Gay-lusacea, however you want to pronounce it. Remember, anyone tells you pronouncing Latin the wrong way, tell them to get fucked. Gay-lusacea moseri. Look at those anthers. Look at that, forming a little pyramid around that central style right there. Urushiol flowers. Little urn shape. They got hairs on everything, anthocyanin pigments and everything, protecting the old foliage. And there's the calyx. See that enclosing this is an old flower. The corolla already fell off. Those sepals, that calyx is enclosing the ovary as it swells and ripens, and we'll soon have a fruit on it. See that one? The style is still in there. Corolla and stamens fell off. Gay-lusacea, another ericaceous genus that we don't get out west. But you get quite a few species out in here in the southeast coast. Oh, look at that guy. Look at that. Little caterpillar hanging out just next to those flowers on this ilex. The genus of yerba mate. See that? Like just pressed against the stem. Just hiding out. Hoping some bird don't come by and eat them. Those little indiscriminate flowers. They're white when they open. Right now they just look like little knobs. How many ilex species down here? Like 9 or 10? Christ, there's so many. Of course, you get Ilex vomitoria in Texas, which you can make a tea out of. It's got the caffeine in it. And of course, was it Ilex paraguayensis, which is yerba mate? One of them, I don't know. I think they all got caffeine. Caffeine's a common alkaloid for a lot of plants. It just says don't eat me, but to us it gets its wired. See, then you just the road just ends and you come to this, you know, and there's probably tons of cottonmouths and other nice stuff in there. You get your Taxodium ascendens. Look at it. Oh, I love the needles on it. God damn. All right, they're just appressed. All right, ropey and ascending. That's the species name, ascendens. Stylingia aquatica. That one out there, that's exceptionally weird to see, because Stylingia is a genus in Euphorbiaceae that I know from more arid areas. But apparently, see those little rods, those little rod flowers? Oh, the military boner up there. What's she doing? What, they're doing drills or something? Maybe they got the Blue Angels. They got the air show and stuff. You like the air show? They used to go to that at Soldier Field, you know, until we got banned. You know, they had an altercation, got thrown out the air show. Yeah, let me touch your rad. See that? Let me touch your cylindrical inflorescence. See that? Just a little spike with the female flower. Look at that juicy ovary on a bottom. All right, pistillate flowers, female flowers, and the male flowers up top. The staminate flowers up top. Same thing that many species of croton do, all right, which is in the same family, Euphorbiaceae. You know, you got little nectaries there too. You say, what those are? Those little bubble-looking things? Luring the pollinators in there. Rubbery foliage, dentate margin. Stylingia aquatica. That's pretty cool. Is that, you got ibis up there? What's that? Those white birds up there. Oh, egrets. Okay. Well, anyway, another species of Hypericum. All right. St. John's wort. Look at the buttressing on those trunks. God damn. Do these trees get very big here, Lily? How big did a Taxodium ascendens get? They live long time?
These are probably very old, but they don't look it because they're dwarf. They're just the same species as the big Taxodium ascendens, but they're dwarfed by the substrate, the limestone bedrock underneath the soil, and just the natural lack of nutrients in the soil.
So what happens if you walk out? You got bedrock beneath all that muck.
Yep.
And so they can't go any deeper. They can't get too big.
Correct.
They're like growing.
They're like bonsai.
Just like when you see alpine trees growing out of rock in a Sierra Nevada or something like that.
Yeah.
Look at that. This is a Pinus elliottii. And then right here you got the cypress knees, okay? Which were thought to, be for oxygenating the roots, but that's bullshit. I think they're just that the adaptive benefit is they help stabilize the trunk and build soil. But look at that. They're coming up quite a ways away from the tree over there. 3 species in that genus, Ascendens, Disticum, and Mucronatum. Mucronatum, you get Central Texas, south on into Mexico. Disticum, you get East Texas and the swamps, Louisiana. And then Taxodium ascendens is kind of grows sympatric with Disticum. What a great species, though. Look at that Magnolia virginianus blooming. Look at that. Look at those flowers up there. God damn, that's nice. But they smell pretty good too. They're doing a beetle pollination thing. How about that? There you go. There's a Magnolia virginiana flower. All right, little past its prime and a little nibbled up, but you could see what's going on. All right, it's a smaller flower than many of the other magnolias. There's like 5 or 6 other ones native to here. You can see the stamens have already fallen off. The stamens are below these brown hairy things, which are the stigmas up there, each one connecting to an ovule, all right, forming the greater ovary. All right, but it's basically done. Doesn't even smell that good anymore. But look at the other sides of those leaves. Ah, that's nice over there. Look at that, look at that white, glabrous and white. Don't you love little green rods? Don't you love Lycopodiales? Look at that. Oh my God, Lycopodiella is the genus here. Ancient lineage of plants. This is what most plants were looking like, 350 million years ago. Okay, bring you back to the Carboniferous. They've lost some of their former glory. Okay, but we remember. Okay, we've seen all those fossils. Look at that. They form the spores in between those scales. And then they do this. They crawl along the ground like that too. They're creepers. Okay. You got Hoopersia is another nice genus. All right, and they're all over the world. All right, all over the world. I just seen some nice ones in Tasmania. Look at that though. Oh, that's nice. That'd be real nice if you were on acid looking at that. How about that? And of course you got the Drosera. All right, nice carnivorous plant. Drosera capillaris. See that? The sundew, which is also all over the world. Australia, South Africa, all right, Southern Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere. They don't seem to care. They grow everywhere. Look at it. Those glandular hairs. Nice orchid right here, Clystesiopsis aureocamporum. Look at that glaucous and waxy blue stem right there with a single cauline leaf. How many down there at the base? Looks like you got another. It's a juvenile over there coming up with those pine seedlings. But look at the flower. Okay, I had to dissect the flower a little bit. I just cut the petal and the labellum, all right, to be able to show you what's going on. You got those three sepals, those three maroon sepals. You got three petals, two up top, and then of course that labellum. It is a resupinate flower, so it does twist 180. All right, if that labellum's on the bottom, it's a resupinate flower, which is what most orchids are. All right, so it's technically inverted 180 degrees. But look at that. That's the column right there. You got an anther cap, and you got the pollinia beneath that. Can you even see the pollinia? Not really. So you got the guides, of course, those patterns on that labellum guide, and the pollinators in there. And then on their way out, they're going to scrape off some of that pollinia and hopefully deposit it on the stigma, which is also on that column of another flower. All right, remember, orchids, this guy only produces 2 pollinia, pollinium singular. But what a pollinium is it's just a glob of so many different pollen grains that it ends up being, one hit, one strike is such a good fertilization event, you get millions of seeds. At least a few 100,000 seeds. Orchid seeds are tiny. Remember, they need that mycorrhizal host to germinate. Then we got growing out of the water one of the species of Tupelo in the genus Nyssa. Families Nysaceae, and order is Cornelius, the dogwoods. Look at those flowers, all right? Not super showy. Barely got petals on them. I mean, if you could even call them, I was just looking at them at the handlets. They get these little appendages beneath those many stamens. Then you get that green disc in the center. Beneath those many stamens, there are, I guess you could call them petals. Well, look at all those yellow rods. Those are all the anthers. Then you got, on some of these flowers, you have a 2-carpelled ovary. You got 2 styles poking up from that disc. But the flowers are just tiny, and there's thousands of them on a single plant. This is nice. Okay, another conifer here. Another conifer that's got only 2 species in North America. One on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. Just like Torreya and like Taxus, the yew. All right, and there's how big they can get. All right, just so you can see I'm not bullshitting. You see, that's about a 50-foot tall tree. Chamaecyparis thyoides. And of course, on the West Coast, you got Chamaecyparis lawsoniana. And both love water, okay? They're both pretty much riparian trees. There's the megastrobili developing. See that blue bastard? See that? And that's what they turn into over here, is these little cones. Tiny cones. Grown it from seed before, okay? Though we don't get it in Chicago. All right, the Morton Arboretum's got some, but the little seeds are just, they look like little brown flakes in there. Redwood family, Cupressaceae, smells really good. Goes on up into Canada. This species ranges all the way up into Canada, pretty much bordering the coast, but always kind of liking those swampy coastal lands. Those swampy coastal lands relatively close to the ocean, right? And you get Taxodium ascendens back there as well. Serenoa repens. Look at that. That's a monster Chamaecyparis. It's like half dead. All right, Chamaecyparis lawsoniana on the West Coast is getting hit by a bad species of Phytophthora root rot, which is not a fungus, it's a water mold. All right, it's basically a brown algae that evolved parasitism. Same genus Phytophthora as Irish potato blight. Right here we got one of the wax myrtles, formerly in the genus Myrica. Myricaceae, the family. Order is Fagales, same order as oaks. This is Morella caroliniensis. Wonder if these are associated with that actinomycete nitrogen-fixing bacteria in the genus Frankie as well. This goes all the way up into Jersey. I've been to Jersey before. You ever been to Little Ferry? You ever been to Bayonne? There was a nice little nice little diner, nice little family diner in Little Ferry, New Jersey, by the train yard over there. I spent many times in. Look at that over there. Look at this. Look at those Chamaecyparis. Look at that. Those quote unquote cedars. Not true cedars. No true cedars native in North America. Anything called the cedars in North America is generally in the redwood family, Cupressaceae. Totally different family from true cedars, which are in the pine family. But anyway, still a really impressive tree. I bet that wood is great too. I bet that is excellent wood, but you'd be a prick to cut these down. In fact, I bet it was done. They get a little bit larger than that. There's actually some rather large ones west of here, but I believe most of them were logged. Hey, bark. Oh, that's some juniper-ish redwood family bark on that Chamaecyparis thyoides. Anyway, look at this swamp carrot, Telimnium capulaceum. See that? Feathery shit. It looks like a carrot trying to adapt to seasonal inundation. Seasonalinundation.com. Okay, seems like something you'd read on like a sleazy billboard outside of Midway Airport in Chicago. You know, help you avoid IRS getting onto you. You need a tax lawyer who does seasonal inundation. Look at those caterpillars too, just munching on it. Swallowtail caterpillars, because they like that Pharanocoumer in secondary chemistry that you find in a carrot family, Apiaceae, and also the citrus family, Rutaceae. Yeah, that's nice right there. Look at that, and you got all this Baccharis, which would be a lot taller, but it gets mowed down, which, you know, I got to be honest, I support that. You support mowing sometimes when you see how out of control stuff can get. But look at it. Look at those pond cypress. Jesus Christ. All right, I got money on those being quite old, too. Look at that beautiful buttressing of the trunks down there. Oh, my God. You got Pinus serratina up top, the pond pine. What a cool ecosystem. Just naturally bonsai'd. Look at it. They get the flat tops on them and stuff, too. You know, I wonder what it'd be like to put a Tyvek suit on and just walk out there. See how many ticks you can get. You got ticks out there? Maybe not, actually. Who knows? Look at this. Frog fruit. Phyla Notiflora. Verbenaceae is the family, mint order, Lamiales. Okay, you got those, of course, you got those opposite leaves. I've never seen one so light stressed before. All right, with the red leaves. Okay, I got one in my yard. It's freaking taken over. It'll crawl along the ground, reroot itself, makes an excellent ground cover. Mine is green, of course, because it's, yeah, I babied a fucking thing. But look at this. You got, again, you get those tiny flowers. All right, just like lantana flowers, same family. All right, really cool, but very common flower right here, Nymphaea odorata. Now, this has an incredibly bizarre pollination biology, okay? It's one of the more basal angiosperm lineages. So the species, it's a modern member of a family that broke off from the rest of the flowering plant family tree, the angiosperm family tree, early on, okay? About 100 million years ago, maybe more. Sometime in the Cretaceous, you know, when the dinosaurs were still around. Those rods that are pointing up, those yellow rods, those are the anthers, okay? This is a protogynous flower, as many basal angiosperms are. So that means it's female first for the first day, and then becomes functionally male on the second and third day. So what happens is on the inside of that flower, there's a little disc at the bottom, and it secretes a nectar that attracts the beetles. The beetles go in there to drink the nectar. They end up getting stuck. It hopefully washes pollen off them. It secretes this fluid that hopefully washes pollen off them, and then that pollen ends up on the stigma, which then, you know, the pollen grains germinate, travel down the style to the ovary. And some of the beetles might drown. You know, you got to crack a couple eggs to make an omelet. And then after that, it's no longer, after the first day, it's no longer functionally female. Then it becomes functionally male, and those little yellow anthers open up, you know, open up like so. And then for 2 or 3 days, it's putting pollen out there, and beetles are getting pollen, hopefully carrying off. And then when the whole thing's done, the petals and all the stamens and all that shit fall off, and the whole thing goes underwater, and the fruit matures underwater. The fruit is the capsule at the base of all that you can't see right now. And to help illustrate this, I cut a flower and I dissected it, as I like to do, and I'll show you. See that little disc in the bottom? That's where the pollinators get washed up with the stigmatic fluid, washing pollen grains off them and all the shit. The stamens, the laminar stamens, have not opened up yet, okay? They're starting to mature. They're starting to hit. See those lighter yellow lines? So this probably just finished being pistillate, being receptive, okay? Being female receptive, and now it's going to go into the male phase. So there you go. Nymphaea odorata, all right? One of the water lilies, nice. God, thank God for swamp boardwalks. Look at that. You get some nice visuals right there. Anyway, look at this. There we go. There's the maturing cones, the maturing female cones, the maturing megastrobili of Taxodium ascendens. See that with that wonderful glaucous waxy blue on it. Okay, so these were probably already pollinated, because the cypress dongs, the strings of pollen cones, have already fallen off on the other trees. So these were probably releasing pollen a few months ago. Then the wind-borne pollen lands in between those scales, pollinates them, and that naked seed, the naked seeds inside, end up maturing, and then you get a little soccer ball looking cone that dehisces, just disintegrates on the tree, and then the seeds fall into the muck down there, and you get new trees popping up, like that guy. See, there's a cypress dongs. You see that? See that brown stuff? They're all done. They already released all their pollen. Look at that beast, man. God damn, I love that. What a cool landscape. Look at that, a water ash, a water fraxinus, an aquatic fraxinus. Look at it. See where it goes on down into the ground. It's about 15 feet, 20 feet tall. That's a weird one. There's that fruit. Look at that little samara. You know ash? You know the genus Fraxinus? The ashes are in the olive family, Oleaceae, which is also in Lamiales. The same order as salvia. Oh, look at that. You got a species of Eriocolum down there. See? The little white, the bog buttons, como se dice. Eriocolaceae. That's a nice scene right there. The nice soundtrack. Very peaceful, no people. You don't hear the rush of the cars. You don't hear the fucking horns. You don't hear a bunch of slobs in traffic. It's so hard to get to places like this still. But apparently you can still in the Panhandle, at least for the time being. Who knows what it'll be like in 50 years once the tumors spread a little bit more. Yeah, Tillandsia usneoides just draping it. Such a pleasant scene. This would be a great spot to do acid. You know, I just want to put that out there. Okay, I'm not going to do it, but if anybody else wants to come down here, okay, you take that idea, you run with it. Right? Just make sure you get 10 hours to put into it, okay? Make sure you get that 10 hours. Don't try driving on it. Maybe, you know, bring some nice food, little picnic blanket and stuff, some bug spray. No mosquitoes out here right now. I don't know how not. I guess it's kind of chilly still. Cypress dongs. Cypress dongs could be your safe word. Anyway, hopefully you got some out of that, all right? From Sandscrub, from coastal Florida Sandscrub to Florida Swamp at a Panhandle with Taxodium ascendens, the pound cypress. Such a beautiful time here. You got Stylingia aquatica, of course, down there. Down on the understory. All kinds of birds making weird noises, probably banging in the canopy, being raucous. And that's all I got for you today. Have a good rest of the afternoon, evening, whatever the shit. Go fuck yourself. Bye. Jesus Christ, look at it. Look at that massive knee down there. Holy hell. I bet you some of these trees are easily a few hundred years old. Easily 500. You know, if you could even get a borer into one of those, the wood's probably hard as hell. You know, wood of the redwood family is normally not that hard. It's normally pretty light. But these are probably growing so slow, that wood is so dense. What a sacred place. If you don't think so, you're an asshole. Or a dummy. Would you look at that? It's Tillandsia usneoides, which is a flowering plant in the bromeliad family, and then the namesake of its species epithet, usnea, which is a lichen, which is a symbiosis between an algae and a fungus. God, these trees are just blowing my mind. God, I love them. Oh, they're so beautiful. God, they're so beautiful. With that ascendant foliage, look at it. What's the adaptive benefit of that? You know, and I seen a couple discs come in there too with the feathery foliage and shit. Explain it, huh? How do you do that? Is that just a recessive allele in the population, or is that actual disticum seed they got there, and how? All right, I'm not, you know, but I don't think it's fair to say they're the same species just yet, just because of that, though. You'd have to actually look at the genome. This guy, he got shitty light quality, but he's still, you know, he's having a good time. Little warbler. Look at it. Don't worry, I'm not going down a birding hole. Okay, not that there's anything wrong with it, but that's not what I'm doing now. But I thought this guy is kind of a stunner, you know. Sitting here in a cypress swamp at sundown. Look at those clouds, man. Can't get enough of it. You know, how do you get people to realize how important this shit is? We were just talking about that, you know. I, for one, voted dosing people, but sometimes they can realize it on their own, you know. How many people would come out here and just be like, ooh, gross, it's icky. I don't want to touch it, you know. I want to go play video games, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with that necessarily, but, you know, how do you get them to see? You gotta force them into it. they'll be fine. It's just a 10-hour commitment. That's, you know, the mosquitoes weren't bad, but now they're getting kind of bad. But that's what the frogs are for. Frog party. Anyway, check this out. This is kind of nice. Got a nice Magnolia virginiana in flower right there. See that? You got those stigmas on there. And looks like they're receptive right now, which is weird because these are supposed to be protogynous. So many of the quote-unquote early branching angiosperms are female first, protogynous, and then staminate. But you can see those stamens already fell off. Remember, the stamens on the magnolia flower are beneath all the stigmas. Very, very bizarre. It smells kind of good, and then you got that notorious, see that? Notorious rolled leaf, that leaf and bud. Yeah, I don't know if they're banging or what they're doing in there, you know, but it's a little jarring, you know. They're really having a time. See the firefly? Those will be extinct in many places soon.